your motivation for doing real estate investing deals? What's your motivation for doing this? I talked a little bit earlier about why this is going to be one of the more important live casts that we've done. So what are we going to cover? We're going to cover what holds people back from being successful as real estate investors. We're going to go through how to unveil your purpose, and these things are really important. Most people think that real estate investing is about doing, and it is, okay? That is part of it. Doing is part of it. The bigger part of it is being or becoming, okay? Who am I being and who am I becoming is a bigger part than doing. Doing is always important, but what am I becoming? What am I being? Okay. So what stops most people from becoming successful in real estate investing is in between their ears. Okay. It's in between their ears. For myself, what's holding me back from being more successful is what's in between my ears right now. That's what's holding me back, okay? What are the stories I'm telling myself? What am I doing? So it's the brain that's really holding us back. It's the mindset that's really holding us back. It's our belief system that's holding us back, right? So it's the things that we think we know that maybe just aren't so, right? That's the type of thing that is holding us back. So to break through this, one of the best tools you can use is knowing your why, okay? Know your why. Most prospective real estate investors say they want to make money. I will tell you right now, that is not a why. Wanting to make money is not a why. No way, shape, or form. It is not a why, okay? Frankly, it's really weak. It's not a why, okay? It is never about the money. You're gonna say, well, I want to make money. Of course you do. But that's not your why. Your why is never about the money. Your why is what the money will be able to do for you. What will the money allow you to do? Now we start getting a layer deeper into the why. We call that peeling the onion back. Okay, I want to make money. Well, why do I want to make money? What will that money do for me? What will that allow me to be, do, have? So those are the types of things that we're looking at. So what will the money do for me? Okay, why is that important? Why is that important to you? Why is it even important for, say, hey, the money's going to do this for me? Well, why is doing that even important? Okay, what will having the money allow you to do? What will it give you? How will that make you feel? These are all questions you should be asking yourself when you're trying to figure out what this why is, and why is that important? This is called peeling the onion. You keep going layers deeper, layer deeper, layer deeper. So what's important to you? What will this allow you to do? How will this make you feel? And why is this important? Are all things you should be considering as you're saying, what is my real why? Mark Twain said the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out your why. I love that. I love it. The day you're born and the day you find out your why. Understanding your why should get you to the root of the matter. Like you look at the tree, you've got the leaves, you got the branches, you got the twigs, you got the big stems, you've got the trunk, and then you've got the roots, which is down at the bottom. Nothing happens unless it starts at the root. Now, what's interesting is you don't see the roots, right? Most of the time, you're not seeing these big, massive roots that are actually going down into the ground, but nothing happens without the roots. Well, the roots is like your why. If you don't have a strong enough why, if you don't understand your why, when the wind comes and it blows, it's gonna tip that tree over because there's nothing underneath it, okay? So you wanna make sure you have the root of the matter, that why, what it's gonna do. So typically, an event or an experience that's changed your life that you don't want to have happen again or have happen to your kids. So this could be that you grew up with not having much money. It may be that you grew up because you didn't have enough food on the table. It may be that you grew up always saying you can't have this instead of saying, how can I find a way to make it happen? I don't know what it is. But there's typically something that has happened either now or something you want to prevent your kids from or something that you want to make sure never happens to you. But asking yourself these questions to get to your why. So let me give you an example here. I want cash flow so I can be the grandpa to my future grandchildren that my dad wasn't able to be. Okay, that is, now we're getting to the root of the matter. It's not about the money. It's about what the money will do for you and what the money will allow you to become. We could take this a few steps further and saying, well, what would it look like to be that grandpa? Now, that's not just monetary, right? There's lots of other things you can do. I'm not saying being a great grandpa is having a lot of money. Absolutely not. There's people with money that are horrible grandparents. What it is what will that allow you to do? And understanding that and becoming is what's really important. So this is where we really start to get somewhere. Starting to get somewhere, guys. Starting to get somewhere. This is not we've arrived. This is mean we're starting to get somewhere. This is something you should be working on. So according to Forbes, there's some questions to help you find your purpose, okay? What makes you come alive? What gives you energy? What gets you excited, okay? What makes you come alive? What are your innate strengths? What are you just good at? You're just good at it. You didn't even try. You're just good at it. It just happened. You were born with it. What are those types of things? Where do you add the greatest value? When I do something, what am I doing that gives the greatest value to other people? And then how will you measure your life? There's actually a really good book called How Will You Measure Your Life by Clayton. I forget his name. He was a Harvard business guy. But How Will You Measure Life, I think, is the name of the book. I should have included it in here. But I would highly recommend you look at that as well. It's how are you measuring your life? At the end, how are you going to measure your life? That's really one of the things that you should be considering here when you're trying to understand your why, you're trying to understand your purpose, because money is not the reason. It's not. That's weak. Okay? So why do you need to understand your why? You like that? Why? Ask why. Why do you need to understand your why? Well, challenges will come. And I can tell you, I've seen it happen. People with a strong enough why fight through it. People with a shallow why usually give up. And I don't want you to give up. I want you to be able to overcome the challenges. I want this to be your North Star. This is where I'm going. Is there going to be ups and downs and everything else? Yes, but this is where I'm going. And so you're constantly looking at that direction. It also brings you passion and motivation. If you're like, this is why I'm doing this, you constantly need to be reminding yourself, this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm doing it. This is my why. This is why I'm doing it. Because when hard things and difficult things come around, those are things that we need to be talking about. Like, what is my why and why is it important to me? And that can give me the courage and the motivation to be continuing on, even though difficult times will come. And I can assure you difficult times come. I can also assure you as new investors, you're gonna have a lot of difficult times. It gets easier the more experience you have. The first deal you do is the hardest. The second deal is the next hardest. The more deals you're doing, the easier it becomes. Napoleon Hill, one of my heroes, said this: there is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. If you don't know what you want, you're never going to get there, okay? So what do you want, and do you have that burning desire to possess it? That's when we start getting to a why, a real why, and what's really going on. There's going to be many challenges to be successful in real estate. I can't even tell you how many challenges, and I can't even tell you what they're going to be, because challenges you may have versus somebody else may have, they're all going to be different. There's different challenges out there. I've seen a lot of challenges in real estate investing. I've helped overcome a lot of challenges, both for myself and for others. But this is not like a TV show. This is not where everything looks perfect and everything, it's all... everything comes out perfectly. This is not like TV shows. And guys, those TV shows are staged. They're staged for drama. It is for entertainment purposes. It is not for investment purposes. So you'll hit challenges that make you question what you're doing. You really will. And most people hit a challenge, question what they're doing. They don't have a strong enough why. And so they say, I'm out. They give up. They blame. So you also have to tell others. You're going to have others telling you what you're doing is wrong, and probably well-meaning people are like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. This is risky. Real estate's risky, those types of things. But if you have that North Star and you make sure that daily, weekly, monthly activities are connected to that end goal, connected to that North Star, it keeps you focused on where you want to go. Where do I want to go? This is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. So, and then with that, I can also have some passion behind my goals. What do I want to achieve? There is no passion around making money. There just is no passion around that. There is passion behind what the money will actually do for you. That's where we start seeing the passion. That's where it really starts mattering. So most people fail at their goal because they do not have a strong enough why. They just don't understand their why. It's not big enough, and so they fall back into old habits that are not going to get them to where they want to go because that why, that desire is not big enough. So I used to think that the why needed to be something dramatic, like super dramatic, like I want to take over the universe. I want to walk on the moon. I want to do those types of things, like, which those are bad examples actually, because that's only one layer deep, and we want to peel the onion and go deep. But it doesn't need to be like some grandiose, I'm gonna, save humanity. I'm gonna make sure everyone has food to eat, like that type of stuff. But it does need to be genuine. So like it needs to come from you. It needs to be genuine. If it's something you're like doesn't get excited about, then you're not finding your true why. It needs to be the reason you get out of bed in the morning, and the reason where you're saying, hey, this is why I get out of bed in the morning. Very few companies and individuals actually know their why. And that's why you're seeing very few companies and individuals actually living their purpose and getting the success that they're looking for. Now, this is not just psychology, this is actually biology as well. There's a book by Simon Sinek. It's called Starting with Why. Highly recommend it, but one of the things he talks about is the differences in your brain. The middle two sections make up our limbic brain and are responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. This is roughly corresponds with the why level. This area of the brain is responsible for all human behavior and all of our decision making. So this is not just something that I came up with today. Like this is really what successful people understand and what motivates them and why they keep achieving and achieving. The other example I want to give here is crabs in a bucket. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, they will perform a behavior. And what it is when somebody tries to climb out, they will pull that person down. Anybody that's trying to escape, any of those crabs that are trying to escape, they're gonna pull that person down by its fellow crabs. And you're gonna see this in real estate investing or doing anything in your life, which is a big change, right? You're gonna hear, instead of helping each other, instead of the crabs like, hey, you lean on me, I'll crawl up you, we'll do this, and we can all get out of the bucket. No, they're saying, nope, let's just pull everybody down. They tend to grab the legs of somebody that's trying to escape and pull them down. Now, this doesn't mean that the crabs are not well-meaning, okay? You're gonna have people in your life that are like those crabs that are trying to say, don't do this, this is risk, you can have problems, but everything in life is a risk. They are actually well-meaning. They don't want you to get hurt. They don't want you to have hard times. They don't want you to lose any money. They don't want you to do those things. And so they're those crabs in the bucket that are pulling you down. But guess what? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, okay? Your why needs to be big enough to overcome well-meaning and also jealous naysayers. Well-meaning is gonna be your family that's worried about you getting hurt or worried about you losing money or worried about all those different types of things. Jealous naysayers are people that are just like, oh, you can't do that. I tried it, it didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Well, because you didn't have a strong enough why, and you didn't fall through, and you didn't do the things that were necessary to get the success. Because once you understand that why, we can reverse engineer success and say, where do I wanna be? And what are the actions I need to do on a yearly, daily, monthly basis so that I can make that happen, and how do I adjust that plan as we go along? As we get more information, we make adjustments on that plan, okay? So you are gonna have naysayers. Some will be well-meaning and some are just simply going to be jealous. Now let's do a quick recap here, guys. What have you learned today? Real estate is about being, not doing. Doing is important, but being is where it all starts. The brain, the mindset, the belief system of someone is that holds them back from being successful as a real estate investor. It is not deals, it is not opportunity, it is not all these other things. It really is what's in between your ears that's holding back from being a real estate investor. It's what's holding me back from going to the next level of investing that I wanna get to, and I'm reworking my why, where am I going, why is it important? Those types of things have to get readdressed. This is a lifelong journey. This is not a one and done, but you've really gotta know your why.